So if you're like me, you've always been the type of person who hates jobs. Like, you love money, but you hate employment. Like, let's be honest here. Not many people really enjoy the process of having to get up at a certain time when you probably would prefer to be sleeping, having to get ready, and then having to commute to an office building of some sort. And even if you don't have to commute, like, you still have to be somewhere at a certain time, whether that's in person or on Zoom, and do what someone else tells you to do for 8 hours. You spend your entire workday telling yourself that, you know, you're not gonna be doing this forever, and that one day you're gonna finally take the leap and become a content creator or influencer or work online in some capacity. And it's because you know that quitting your 9 to 5 is really one of the only ways you're going to actually experience like that true sense of freedom you've always been looking for. Not only will you get the flexibility to do whatever you want, you know, if you don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. to go somewhere and be somewhere, you don't have to. Like, if you want to take a 2-hour lunch break, take a 2-hour lunch break. You know, you can basically do whatever you want whenever you want. You'll also be making way more money than you're typically used to. So you can finally buy all those things you want. You can not stress about rent and bills, and you can use your newfound coins at your free time to actually take those trips and do the activities that you're always way too tired to do after work. Like, you just know that working online is literally the answer to all of your problems, and it's how you're going to finally start living the life that you know you deserve to live. But you and I both know the reason you haven't actually taken that leap and started working for yourself or building your presence online is that you're scared for whatever reason. You know, you're scared of the outcome. And to be honest with you, like, I don't blame you. It feels like nowadays, like, there is just so much pressure to become a content creator or an influencer or just working for yourself online in some capacity. And it doesn't help that it seems like everywhere you look, people are becoming more and more successful, younger and younger. There are so many times when I'll see like an article headline that's like, Margaret, millionaire at 7 years old, or, you know, I love K-pop music. And there are a lot of times when I'll like find a new group that I like and I'll look up, you know, my favorite out of the group to see kind of what their background is, like how old they are, whatever. And they're like 15 years old. It's already stressful enough to be getting older. You're just trying to figure out what life means for you and what you're supposed to be doing. And it just doesn't help when you see people who are super successful at a super young age. It just makes us feel like we should have gotten so much more done by this point. I took the leap and started working for myself like 4 years ago at this point. And let me tell you, like, quitting your stable job with your stable income, your check every 2 weeks, your benefits, and especially quitting with no backup plan, like, that is not as glamorous as influencers like to make it seem. I mean, there are definitely plenty of positives when it comes to making content online and making money from it. But I think there is also plenty of negatives that come with the job that for some reason content creators just don't like to talk about. I don't know if it's because it makes the job seem more, you know, fun or interesting or desirable, but the negatives are plentiful. For example, let's say, you know, you start posting content for a while you're still at your current job, things start going super well, and so you tell yourself, you know what, I'm gonna take that leap. I'm gonna make it happen and I'm gonna start working for myself full time. A couple of months go by and you're feeling super secure because, you know, you're making all this money and like your views are just skyrocketing. Every other video goes viral, like you are doing well. So you slowly but surely start to buy, you know, things that are technically within your budget, but also like not really, but it's fine because, you know, you're making money and, you know, things will just keep growing and like, you'll be fine. Like you're good. Then you wake up on a Thursday, 9 a.m. You go and you check your platform of choice, say Instagram, for example, and you find out their algorithm has changed. So now your views tanked. So now, literally overnight, you are not getting anywhere near as much traffic as you're used to. Your views have tanked, your sponsorships have dropped you, and no matter what you do, no matter how much you try to pivot and be flexible for some reason, the algorithm just chose you and you can't recover. And then you're just left feeling hopeless because you put in all of this work, all this effort for however long for these accounts to build them up to, you know, a decent size, but just happened to be chosen by an algorithm. So it finally hit you that you are literally just at the mercy of unpredictable algorithms. So if you're watching this and you're considering, you know, becoming a content creator, leaving your job to do this full time, like take it from someone who's done it for 4 years. Like I said, there are so many fantastic things that come with this job, but the bad is also a possibility that you can't ignore. So I wanted to make this video to basically give you some of the positives and some of the negatives that I've experienced being a content creator. And if you do want to do this full time, hopefully it'll help you speed past those speed bumps that I unfortunately had to slug through just because life sucks. And I really hope that by the end of this video, you're able to make a much more informed decision about whether or not this lifestyle is for you. I truly believe this video could save you years of hardships. And we ain't got years to waste, so let's get into it. So I have always been the type of person that found it hard to stay at a job for too long. And it's not what you think. Like, I haven't been fired from every job that I've been at. I think I've had 7 jobs and I've been fired from 1. So I think it's fair to say that it's not me, it's them. I've worked at clothing stores, call centers, a bank, Starbucks. I was a personal trainer for a little while, even though I probably shouldn't have been. Like, when I tell you I have done every single job under the sun, like you name it, I've done it. And the reason that I could never stay at the same job for more than a couple of years is because like I would just always get bored. Like it was always the same routine. I would always apply for a new job, a new opportunity, and get super excited about it because, you know, more money, more friends, etc. And I would always get the job because like, when I tell you, I'm a master of job interviews. Like I don't think I've ever failed a job interview. Like if there's one thing that I know how to do is tell you why you need me. I would love the job for the first 3 months because everything felt all fresh and new and shiny, but it never failed. Like once I hit that 4-month mark, I would look around and be like, what am I doing here? I hate the work that I'm doing. I don't feel fulfilled. The friends that I make here aren't gonna last. And it's gonna take me forever to make any actual progress towards my financial goals. I think another part of it was just that I hate being told what to do, which is a flaw that I have, but I accept it. So 4 years ago, I finally made the decision to stop building everyone else's dreams and to finally take the leap to work for myself and build towards my own personal dreams, no matter how long it took. Fast forward to today, and I have multiple clients that I do marketing services for. I travel out of the country on average once a month or so. Even though I'm not the person that I, want to be, there's still more growth that I want to happen. My life has completely changed for the better over the past couple of years, and I would say it's probably 80 to 90% because of the work that I do. But although my life has changed in a very positive way, quitting a secure job to follow my dreams does not come with no negatives. And there are even times to this day where I ask myself, like, do I want to keep doing this? If you were to ask me to describe this job in 5 words, I would have a hard time. But if you were to ask me to describe this job in 1 word, I would probably say change. Let me ask you a question. How comfortable are you with change? Leave a comment down below, but be honest. Be honest with yourself. Or at least be honest with me. Like, I could honestly say that before doing this job, I couldn't stand change. There was nothing I loved more than for things just to stay the way they stay. But I'm the type of guy who could eat a burger every single day for the rest of his life and be totally fine. And I know what you're thinking. It's because he likes consistency. He likes the predictability of knowing that he's gonna have the same thing and not have to think about it. But that's where you're wrong. I like consistency. And burgers. Humans in general hate change, especially when that change has to do with their current life situation in some way. But the first thing that I had to learn about this job is that change is inevitable and it is frequent. Making content online, whether that's for yourself or for clients, means that you always have to be ready to be flexible and switch up your content or your strategy at a moment's notice. And I'm not just talking about, say the algorithm changing and impacting your content. Like there are so many other things that could totally switch up on you. I'll use a lighthearted example. Like let's say you post a video or a photo online and you love it, you think it's one of your best pieces of works ever, but nobody likes it. And I don't mean like nobody clicks like, I mean nobody enjoys it. Like nobody's having a good time. Are you going to continue making that content because you love it and it speaks to your heart and your soul? Or are you going to switch up your strategy and make different types of content because that fits better with what your strategy and what your goals are with your online content? Or here's a personal example that stressed me out so much. On my old YouTube channel, I was posting content about a certain musical artist for like years with no issues. One night I posted a video about that artist, didn't think anything of it, and went to bed. I woke up the next morning, logged into my account to see how the video performed overnight. When I tell you, my heart shattered. When I logged into my account, my main dashboard, my comments, my videos, my analytics, literally everything was gone. All gone. And the only thing on the screen was this big red notice that basically said 3 of your videos about this artist have received copyright strikes, which means your YouTube channel now has 3 copyright strikes. If you don't get this matter handled with this artist's legal team within 7 days, your YouTube channel and all of your videos will be permanently deleted. And during this process, you will not be able to go live, you will not be able to post any videos, and you also will not be able to comment on any videos. So I couldn't post a video telling people like, hey, I'll be gone for a couple of days while I get this resolved, and I couldn't comment, I couldn't email them, I couldn't do anything. I was stuck. Like, what if that artist's legal team was busy and couldn't get back to me in 7 days? Then that's it? Like, my channel is gone? Like that? I'm still traumatized. I think a lot of times we get so used to this idea that as long as we work hard and as long as we keep doing the same thing, we're going to get the same result. And this shows up in so many different areas of life, like your job, for example. As long as you keep doing an adequate enough job, like things should stay the same. But with this type of job, oftentimes the difference between someone who is successful and someone who is not is their ability to adapt. So if you're considering this type of job structure, you have to be flexible and understand that if you need to pivot, you got to pivot, because things will literally change with little to no notice, and there's not much you can do about it. If you're trying something new and it's not working, then don't be afraid to abandon that idea and try something new or go back to what has worked in the past for you. Or say if a platform has a new feature that you are reluctant to try, like be open to trying it out. Oftentimes you'll learn something new and you'll probably get rewarded for it. I honestly believe that I can make a pretty good argument for the fact that being flexible and dealing with change is probably the most important skill, if not one of the top 3 most important skills you need when it comes to doing a job like this, especially because change doesn't only affect your dynamics when it comes to your work, it also is going to come into play when we're talking about the new dynamics in your personal relationships. Your friends, your family, your significant other, like these relationships are all going to change once you start working for yourself. For example, because I work for myself, my time is pretty much completely free. Like, yeah, I still have commitments, I still have deadlines, appointments, things like that. But overall, like I can wake up when I want to, I can pretty much do whatever I want to. If I want to take a trip today, I can just up and take it. I literally just got back from Greece like 2 weeks ago, and I don't say that to brag or anything. I'm trying to illustrate the point that the only reason why I was able to take a last minute trip like that is because of the type of work that I do and because my schedule is so flexible. But while my schedule is flexible, it is also unpredictable, and there is no one else around me that has a schedule like it. So while my friends and family oftentimes will schedule, birthday parties and special events, weddings, things like that on the weekends, I can't always be there because I'm either not here because I'm working, or I'm here but I have to work. There have been so many times where a friend will be like, hey, do you want to go out to dinner, or do you want to go to a bar or a club this Friday or Saturday night? And unfortunately, I just can't, because I may not have had a lot of work to do during the week, but I have a project due at 10 a.m. on a Sunday or something, so I can't afford not to get that project done for a client. And just because I'm available to go to the movies at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday doesn't mean that anyone else around me has the flexibility to do that. One of the biggest hard truths about this job is that you are going to spend a lot of time alone. And so I just kind of had to learn to love doing things alone. But I won't go into that too much in this video, because that's going to be my next video. There's this common misconception out there that if you are a content creator, if you make your money online, that you don't do a lot of work. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to like family members or friends who genuinely think that this job doesn't take a lot of work and it's all just easy money. And to be completely frank with you, I kind of get it and I kind of agree with them. Well, I agree and I don't agree. Let me explain. The part that I do agree with is the fact that content creators typically don't work hard. On the contrary, I think being a content creator takes a lot of perseverance, don't get me wrong, but I think instead of working hard, you have to work smart. This isn't the type of job where you can just put your head down and just, chug through it and work hard, and as long as you get the job done, you're going to get your paycheck at the end of your 2 weeks. This is the type of job where if you do not make quick pivots to the things that make the most sense for the time you have available, then you're not going to succeed. But what I don't agree with is that this is not a real job. I think anything you make money from, that you pay taxes on, is a job. From the outside looking in, it typically looks like content creators just make videos, take some quick photos, post them, and then everything just kind of comes easy to them. But what you don't see is all of the planning, all the late night staying up until 12 a.m. to make sure that you can get something posted the following day. You don't see all the scripting, the editing, the recording, the engaging with people online to make sure your engagement stays up. You don't see the emails back and forth with brands for collaborations or collaborations with other creators. You don't see the back end and the back and forth of, say, trying to figure out how much you are worth and how much you should be getting paid for marketing someone else's brand or business. You typically don't see the reality of successful creators who have to work very, very long hours, because this is not a, 9 to 5, it is a 24/7 24/7 that doesn't turn off. And while you're making a good amount of money, you're also having to wear multiple hats: the producer, the creator, the writer, the business manager. Like, there's a lot going on here. And this kind of goes back to my point of the fact that this job does change your personal relationships, because you can't wear all these hats and have it not affect the other people in your life. Because best believe that although they may not say it to your face, there are definitely going to be people around you who do not love the idea that you are getting paid a lot more than they are for doing work that they believe is not as difficult as theirs. I don't want to go into this too much, but I did at one point have a very strained relationship with my father, because I was making a good amount of money, more than he was at the time, to do work that he just didn't think was important. He didn't view it as valid, and he made it known. There was drama. On that note, let's talk about money for a second. I'm a little nervous to talk about this just because I think society has really trained us to not discuss money with each other. But I hope that after hearing this section, it kind of helps you avoid some of the mistakes that I made, and you can kind of, avoid the speed bumps that I had to go over that ended up totaling my car. I don't know. Let's talk about money for a second. Having a reliable source of income is oftentimes, in my opinion, underestimated by those who have chosen to work for themselves. You hear a lot of people talk about how once you start working for yourself, there's now no cap on how much money you can make. So you can make millions of dollars, and you're just swimming in cash. What you don't hear people talk about is the fact that now that you're, working for yourself, your whole mindset about money has to shift when it comes to how you make money, how you spend that money, and what you end up doing with that money in the long term. Like when I had a regular job, there was a certain level of security that I had that was very freeing, because even though I knew that I wasn't making as much money as I wanted to be making, I was willing to put that aside in exchange for the security and like the certainty of knowing that, my check was going to be hitting my account at the same time, the same date, every single 2 weeks. If you compare that to now, it has definitely shifted. Like, I'll still spend money on myself here and there. I'll still spend money on experiences and things like that. But overall, I definitely have a much more anxious feeling when it comes to money. I do think I've done a pretty good job when it comes to structuring my business, in that, I make sure that clients are on a retainer, that I'm getting paid, a certain amount every single month for my services. And so I know that as long as I do the work that I said I'm going to do, and I do a good job at it, that I'm going to receive the money that I'm supposed to be receiving every single month. But even though I try to, set up security measures, like I ask people, please just give me, 3 to 4 weeks in advance if you're going to stop working with me. That doesn't mean they're going to actually honor that. So in a sense, and clients have in the past, they'll just stop responding to me. And so that's my hint that we are no longer working together. And so ever since I started working for myself, I now have this like nervous anxiousness when it comes to money, because I want to make sure that I'm not spending that much. I'm holding on to as much money as I can. And then I'm really considering what I want to do with my life in the future, and how the money that I'm making now can help me accomplish those goals. It also means that I have to do my own taxes, which, honey, that's a whole thing in and of itself. I miss when you could just like put in one W-2 form, or what was that form? Whatever, the form your job gives you, you put it into H&R Block and it's done. Like, that is no longer the case. But I do think that you'll probably enjoy the feeling that I have grown to love, of the idea that I no longer have this secure, predictable financial situation, but I have kind of jumped into something that is a little more unpredictable, but at the same time, it's rewarding because it's not something that I was taught growing up, and I was able to, over the past 4 years, maneuver it to the point where I'm in a pretty good place at this point. Things are not perfect. Like, I don't want you to think I'm over here like taking money baths, like swimming in, $100 bills. Like, I'm not rolling in dough, but I do have a pretty good amount of money saved up. I have a decent foundation of clients that I believe are happy with the work that I've done with them so far, because we've been together for a while. And I believe I have the maturity of knowing that at any point this could all come crashing down. So I have to make sure that financially I am prepared for whatever comes my way, positive or negative. There's so much more to life than what we were told growing up. Like when we were kids, I'm sure you have heard this millions of times. You need to grow up and do well in school so you can get into college, then do well in college so you can get a good job, then get a good job so you can make a good amount of money. You can buy you a nice, beautiful house. You can find you, a significant other, maybe a dog, maybe a kid or two. Then you will live a happy, beautiful, life until you have enough money to retire so you don't have to work anymore, and then you can just die. And I think we all know by now that while that typical, way of doing things works for some people, for most people, that's just not how things play out. The biggest thing I've learned, working for myself the past couple of years, is that life is really up to us to sculpt. Each individual person has a different upbringing, a different set of skills and life experiences that, if they are put to the test and allowed to really thrive, can work to help build the perfect life for each individual person. There is not one type of life that just suits everybody perfectly. Like, we all can build a life that works for us individually. Sometimes all it really takes is a leap of faith, whatever that means for your current situation, to completely change our perspective on our lives. The world is nowhere near as black and white as our parents told us growing up, which I don't think is our parents' fault, because they are just kind of doing what they can with what they got, But nowadays we have so many more opportunities that are available to us that will allow us to truly create a life that we are proud of, that we could only dream about. So at this point, it's really up to you and me to be more creative with how we make our living and how we navigate our lives. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You can genuinely enjoy the work that you do if you can find something that compensates you for your skills rather than your time, and something that allows you to continue to progress over time. So if there's a certain vision you have for your life, or a certain lifestyle that you want to pursue, like becoming a content creator, working online, I hope this video has given you, some good perspective on the positives and negatives, and helped you gain some clarity on whether or not you want to pursue this type of dream. And while I will say that after doing this for, 4 or so years, there are some days that are tougher than others. Like, some days are rough, let me tell you. But I'm still so grateful that I built up the courage to take this leap and really bet on myself and my abilities. I knew what I could accomplish, and I knew that it was more than whatever was going on currently. I did my research on how I could make my ideal reality and lifestyle possible, and I took the steps slowly but surely to make sure that I made it happen for myself. And again, like I said, my life is not perfect. I'm not exactly where I want to be. I still feel like I'm kind of reaching out to my future self, like just trying to get there. But, now more than ever, I truly feel like my future self is reaching also back out to me. And eventually our hands are going to meet, and he is going to yank me into the future, and we are going to both be living the life that is perfect for us. So, I know that sounded super dramatic and poetic or whatever, but I'm being serious when I say that the future, the life that you want, is really only a couple of decisions away. So yeah, love you guys so much. I hope this video was helpful, and if you want to see more of this face, you know what to do. This video is right here waiting for you. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.